It's the Nothing Phone 2 versus the OnePlus 11, a nice little battle at $599. And when I did my videos on the Nothing Phone 2, I got a lot of comments saying, why does this phone even exist at $599 when you could get something like the OnePlus 11 that has significant advantages over it? This device should be cheaper. And we're going to look at it today. And while the OnePlus 11 does have some nice hardware advantages, I do believe there are reasons why you'd still want to choose a Nothing Phone 2 over it, and that the price of the Nothing Phone 2 is justified at $599. So let's talk about these two devices. Display. One of the areas where the OnePlus is going to have the advantage. Better display, brighter display, higher resolution. They're both going to refresh at 120 hertz. They both can go down to 1 hertz. They don't both have the LTPO panels. Both feel pretty snappy. No complaints there. So it's not like a refresh rate issue. It's more just the color saturation on the OnePlus 11 is better. You're getting a higher resolution on the panel. And if you like, a lot of people still like the curved display and feel like if it's not curved, then it's not a flagship experience. So the OnePlus 11 panel is still curved, where the Nothing Phone 2 goes for a flatter panel. Now, the one thing that I will say about the Nothing Phone 2 panel is the way they laminated, or however they did it, put it up against the glass. It's really nice. It feels like it's right on top of the glass, and it really pops a little bit more than the panel on the OnePlus 11. But both really good, but there are clear advantages for the OnePlus 11 panel. Build quality, same deal. I think you're getting more of a flagship quality build on the OnePlus 11 than you are on the Nothing Phone 2. The Nothing Phone 2 is lighter, which is not a bad thing. Still has premium materials. It's still metal and glass all around it. Not quite Victus, I don't believe on here. It is Gorilla Glass and is IP54 rated, where you're picking up IP64, if that makes a difference for you. Most people it doesn't. But I just like the weight and the feel and the construction of the OnePlus device a little bit better. Performance, you're not going to notice a difference. I'm sorry. I know people are talking about how could they have put a year-old processor in the Nothing Phone 2 and charge that kind of money for it. Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's no... you're pulling up stuff. I mean, okay, look, did you see that? I mean, the orientation was wrong here, but did you notice a significant difference in the two of these? Let's pull up Instagram. Ooh, that was a tenth of a second. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? Well, we're talking about the power from one generation to the next. Are there reasons why you'd want the extra power in the OnePlus 11 going forward? Yes, ray tracing, gaming stuff in the future is significant. However, for most of the tasks you're going to be doing, for most of the life cycle of the Nothing Phone 2, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 is just fine. And we'll talk about in a moment about how, anecdotally, I've gotten slightly better battery performance on the Nothing Phone 2 than I have something like a OnePlus 11. But there's a couple different things that go into that: screen resolution, all the rest of it. But are you going to notice a huge day-to-day difference performance-wise between these two? No. So the argument there's like, wow, why is the old chip? I was like, you can put a lot of different chips in here that would give you similar performance and not just say that this phone is significantly worse and not buy it because of that. So let's talk about battery. A lot of people, when I did the OnePlus 11 videos, said that wireless charge was make or break for them. I'm not one of those people, but if you are, then the Nothing Phone 2 is for you. 45 watt charging, though, you're limited to. Over here, you got the Super VOOC charging, 80 watts, you could blaze up. So if wireless charging isn't a huge deal for you, but fast charging is, the OnePlus 11 is your device. If it's the other way around, then you're going to be looking at something like the Nothing Phone. Battery life on the Nothing Phone 2 is outstanding. Outstanding. Whatever it is, optimization of their OS, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, whatever the secret sauce is, I've been getting better battery life on my Nothing Phone 2. Both are good, okay? Well over 7.5 hours on my OnePlus 11, over 8 hours on my Nothing Phone 2. So again, not a massive difference between the two, but it's there. So if that's something that, if that last half hour or so, or just the peace of mind of having a monster battery in your device is important to you, then the Nothing Phone 2 might be one that you go towards. Now we're going to start getting into some areas where I believe the Nothing Phone 2 has some advantages, and if these are more important to you, then that's where you're going to lean towards this, and the $599 starts to make more sense. Number one is software. I mean, OnePlus has gotten better. This is not Oxygen OS 12, okay? I like it. It's a little bit cleaner than it was, and it's functioning better than it was. But it's still not quite where I'd want OnePlus software and Oxygen OS to be. It's just not. I've lived with the quirks. It's not a reason why you wouldn't buy the phone. You'd have to know going in kind of what you're getting into. But between the notifications, how you get rid of them, a couple other things, I've noticed some glitches. It might be something to do with the LTPO panel, but the always-on display for the OnePlus device flickers for me a little bit. It might be because that struggling or kind of a lower refresh rate or something like that. So I've had some issues there. Still a great phone. Not a reason why you wouldn't get it, but there's a lot of more question marks on Oxygen OS to me than there are on Nothing OS. Nothing OS is clean, nice. You can see the aesthetic. You gotta like that dot matrix aesthetic. There's a couple goofy things that they put in here, but performance-wise, it's been really good. Oh, that's another thing. I've been getting some weird restarts on my OnePlus 11 that I don't get on my Nothing phone. So, like I said, they're not game-breaking. They're not reasons why I'd say don't buy a OnePlus. I'm not going to jump up and down. But the software advantage to me goes to Nothing phone and how they've handled Nothing OS. I really like it. I like the aesthetic of it, but more importantly, I like the performance. And if you're somebody that was looking between these two devices at something like a Pixel, and you're allergic to Pixels for a lot of reasons, and you're like, you know what, I kind of want that stock Android experience or that Pixel experience, but I don't want OnePlus because of that, but I certainly don't want a Pixel because of their headaches, the Nothing phone becomes more advantageous for you, something that you might want to look at. So if you like that stock-ish experience, you're going to want to go for something like Nothing OS as opposed to Oxygen OS, which has got a lot going on there between Color OS, Oxygen OS, their version of Android 13. There's a lot more going on with the OnePlus than something simple like the Nothing Phone 2. So that's another big one that kind of brings this that conversation again. If you're looking at something like a Pixel, but you don't want a Pixel and you don't want the camera experience that you get on the OnePlus 11, the camera system is more versatile on the OnePlus 11. You're getting that 2x optical zoom that you don't get over here. You just get the 50 megapixel main shooter and a 50 megapixel ultra wide. So again, if those, but again, 2x, right? We're not talking 5x. We're not talking periscope zoom. We're not talking space zoom, any of that stuff. 2x, which for a lot of people, it does make a difference, okay? In your photos, you want to get a little bit more detail from further away. It makes a difference. Lower resolution sensor, though, but lower megapixel sensor. So there's some drop off there between the main shooter. So keep that in mind as well. Nothing Phone 2, to me, has better pictures. And I know that you could go back and forth and you could do a bunch of different things in the camera software itself. But understand that the thing that you're going to be looking at is, I don't get into a lot of, you could go into pro mode and you could do stuff with the white balance. I'm saying point and shoot. If you were to take 100 photos with both of these devices, you're going to enjoy a larger percentage of them on the Nothing Phone straight out of the box, right? Just point, click, shoot, done. More of those photos are going to come out better on the Nothing Phone 2 than something like OnePlus. Not a bad camera, though. Okay, I don't want people, this whole comparison, I don't want people to misconstrue. It's not like when I do a lot of the comparisons where one's better than the other and that I really don't like or don't recommend the other one. I recommend both of these. They're both fantastic. When we're talking about these categories and these differences, we're talking, a little step down. We're not talking massive steps down in one direction or the other. They're both great. If you have them at $599, you're winning no matter what. This video is more to talk to people about the Nothing Phone 2 who are kind of dismissing it and maybe seeing a lot of videos are saying, well, just get a OnePlus 11 for the same price. What are you doing? Don't even look at the Nothing Phone 2. I'm saying there's plenty of people where the Nothing Phone 2 makes more sense. You want to get into the glyph stuff, the fancy stuff on the back? Yeah, a bit of a gimmick, but if you like that, you like it. Design, aesthetic. You're going to want a case on it, though. The glass tapers, and it is slippery. Something you don't have on the textured, at least the black version of the OnePlus 11. So, but there are plenty of reasons why. Software support is similar at this point. I believe it's going to be 4 years on both. 3 years of major upgrades for Nothing OS and 4 years of security patches. And I believe it's going to be the 4 years, which is now a little bit less because of when this was released on the OnePlus 11. There are reasons to buy both. There are reasons why you'd absolutely be happy with both of these, but don't just dismiss the Nothing Phone 2 out of hand, especially if the most important portions of a device to you are the software experience and the camera experience. Then you're going to want to lean this way. Raw performance, just pure resolution, stuff like that, then you're going to want to look at the OnePlus 11. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.